So can you hear me now properly?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So now what the default gateway IP address for this system is now? So always you can say the default gateway IP address nothing but the router IP address. We can provide the default gateway here. Because the router only going to show the way from the one network to other network. For this systems, the default gateway IP address is the router IP address. So because the reason you can say what is the router? The router you can say the gateway device. What is the meaning of gateway device? Gate means you can assume as this is one network, this is one gate. And other network you can say other gate.
Entry and exit.
Start point.
What happened?
It's like an entry point and exit point gateway.
Yes, yes. Now what is the basic use of the router now? The use of the router. So now the routers usually for connecting between LAN to WAN, and one more thing, WAN to WAN and LAN to LAN also. The basic use of the routers and where you can use the router means for connecting between the LAN to WAN we can use the routers. For connecting between the LAN to WAN, and again for connecting between the WAN to WAN also we can use the routers, and for the LAN to LAN also we can use the routers. So the next point now, which company router you have to buy? There are so many routers are there. Now which router you have to buy now? Which company routers? So we got something called like a Cisco company is there, and a D-Link company is there, and a Juniper is there, and similarly a DAX is there. And nowadays there are so many companies are there. Now which router you have to buy now? So the Cisco company became as a monopoly. So the Cisco company router you can say the monopoly. When monopoly means everybody, even the D-Link or you can say Juniper or DAX, they took the technology and the concept from the Cisco only. And according to certification point of also, everybody looking for the Cisco routers only. And if you got the knowledge on the Cisco routers means you can able to work on the any type of the routers also. So we have to buy the which company of router now? The Cisco company router only. So again the Cisco company, the Cisco divide the routers into three layers. According to our usage and according to our purpose, the routers are the three different type of routers are there. The Cisco company divide the routers into three layers. One router is called as a access layer router. Access layer. And the second one is called as the distribution layer router. And the third one is called as core layer routers. The Cisco company, the routers, they divide into three layers. It depend upon the customer requirement and depend upon the usage. The best example, if you're taking some mobile phones, if you're taking some Nokia mobile phones, in the Nokia mobile phones, what are different models are there? We got like a basic model is there, and we got like the advanced model is there, and we got medium is there. Is it right? In the mobile phones only, we got three different type of models are there. Basic model, advanced model, and medium model. Is it right?
Yeah.
In the similar way, the routers also you can say the access layer router, nothing but a basic level. Basic level. And a core layer router, we can call it as an advanced one. And the distribution layer routers, we can say using for the medium organization. Suppose in the Nokia mobile phones only, the basic model, some model numbers will be there. Na? Example like a 1100, 6600, and maybe N70. And now we got like some advanced models, Luma, like this we got different models are there. No? So similar way, for the routers also we got some model numbers are there. Just I'll show the numbers here. So if once you open the packet tracer software, so you can find out the numbers. What the numbers are there? 1841, 1941, 2620, 2621, 2811, 2901, 2911. So these are what you call as the model numbers. So depending on the model numbers, we can decide as that router belongs to which category. So we got like a 800 series and 1000 series like this way, up to 2500 series, and these models they called as a access layer routers. And we got the 7000 series and 10,000 series and 12,000 series, and these routers they called as a advanced like 2 core layer routers. And the medium routers you can say between the 2500 to depend you can say 2600 like this way up to 3600 series. These routers they called as a distribution layer routers. See, every router will do the same functionality, but whereas a distribution layer router and a core layer router, it has a more number of interfaces and more facilities are there. More features are available in these routers. So just to explain a small picture, then you can understand. So we got some organization, you can say Microsoft. So we got in head office in USA. And the Microsoft again, there are so many branches are there. So this head office in you can say in USA. So they have the branches One of the branch maybe you can say in India. So one more branch maybe you can say UK. And one more branch maybe you can say Dubai. Like this we have the different branches. So again you can see each branch, maybe again if you go for like India, again they have the sub branches will be there. Maybe they have the branches in Hyderabad and they have the branches in the Mumbai and Bangalore, like this way. Again in these branches we have the systems will be there. These are the systems in the each and every branch. So now all these branches will be connected to now which one now? The regional office. And now this all this regional office will be connected to the head office. Now in the head office, what is the router they are using means, the router they called as a 4-layer router, or we can also call it as a backbone router. 4-layer router, or we can call it as a backbone router. So in India, in USA, UK, what the router they are using is, these routers they called which routers now? These are what they called as a distribution layer router. Now in the branch offices, now what the routers we can use here now? Access layer routers. Here you can able to go for the access layer router because we don't require the more features in these branches. Because the reason I can say that just to connecting the our LAN to your router, and this router connected to the regional office router. So the regional office router should have the more functions. Again, this all the regional office will be connected to the main router, main head office router, and this is what I call as a 4-layer router. Is it clear now?
Can you just once again tell the series range of our core layer routers?
Yes, yes.
The series range.
You can see the series numbers.
Yeah, 10,000 to 120,000. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
So is it okay now?
Mm-hmm.
Depend upon your office purpose only, we have to select the router model. For the small office, if you go for like a core layer router, there is no use. It depend upon your requirement only, we have to plan the what is the router we require. So is it clear?
I have one question.
Yes.
Are they classified based on how much like ability to drive or something like that, or it is just based on the features?
Karthik, I didn't get you. Can you repeat?
For example, you said distribution layer and core, like using head office and that function, right?
Yes.
And then we also got like there are 3 kinds of routers, that is access, distribution and core layers. I wanted to know on what basis they are like differentiated. Like is it like there's something like driving capacity or number of users or something?
It's the number of the ports, number of interfaces, number of the branches.
Okay.
And as well as you can say, that means a number of interfaces, and as well as you can say how many networks we have.
Okay.
In each branch you can say how many networks we have and what is the routing we require and what are the routing protocols we have to use it. depend upon those platforms, we have to plan the routers.
Okay.
In
So
future
it
classes,
means
we can understand all these things.
okay, but in general overview, it means like core layer has done more network, like it can support more networks,
Yes.
right?
Generally, you can simply way,
Yeah.
you can assume as the access layer router nothing but a in the home, what the routers we're using, in the offices, at the home, for desktops, what the routers we're using, those routers we can call as a access layer routers. So the ISP they providing the connections now, internet service providers. So what the router they're using in the ISPs, those we can assume as a distribution layer routers. So this all the ISP will be connected to the one more global ISP. Global ISP. The global ISP there is in the router they called as a 4-layer routers. That is an example. So you got the multiple PCs are there. If all the PCs if you require the internet, so who is going to supply the internet? The internet will be supplied by your local ISP, internet service providers. And this local ISP they are providing a cable, and this cable we can connect to your router here at your place. So what the router I'm using in my office or the home, and these routers we can call it now access layer routers or the company layer routers. Access or you can say company layer routers. See by default the name also is given access. Access means you want to the resource is what we can call it as a access. Now the ISP people what they can do, they are going to distribute the connections now. They are going to distribute the connections to the multiple users. Is it right? The ISP people not only given the internet connection to our site only, they have given the internet connections to the multiple users. That means they are going to distribute the internet connections to multiple. So there the router they called as a distributed routers or the distribution layer routers, because they want to distribute the multiple connections. Again these ISPs, in Hyderabad you can see ISPs there, in Mumbai also we got ISPs there, and Bangalore also we got ISPs are there. And this all the ISP will be going to connect to the one more ISP.
India.
So this ISP we can call it as a global ISP. So there are so many networks are in the global ISP. So here what are the routers we require? This router must have the more features to provide the routing between all the branches. There are so many networks are there. No? So there the router you can see the core layer routers. So in the next future classes we can able to understand what are the router we have to select it. In the routers we have different model numbers are there. No? Which model number it is going to suit. So that is again depend upon the number of the connections and depend upon the what are the routing protocols we are going to use. Routing protocols.
Okay.
So now we get some basic idea. So first of all we have seen like a in this what is the router we have seen. And next point, and which company of the router we have to buy. And next point, the types of the routers according to Cisco. So one is called as a access layer. distribution or distributed. And a core. Core means the first one or the main one. See, according to naming also, our client places, they are going to access the resource. That's called as accessing. And the distribution. Distribution means they want to distribute the connections to the multiple users. It's called as a distribution. And the core means the main one is called as a core. So is it okay now?
Yes.
So the next one now.
Yes.
So the interfaces, or you can say the ports. Interfaces are the ports of a router. What are the basic ports or the interfaces for the router? The interfaces are the ports of any router. So any idea? So what is the use of the router?
It is used to connecting and
It's a
communicating.
gateway device used for connecting between devices.
Is
Communicate.
again LAN to WAN and WAN to WAN.
LAN to LAN. LAN to LAN.
Okay.
LAN to LAN.
Okay. See, I'll go to the packet tracer software. I'll go for the one of the router. So just click on the router here. If you go for zooming, okay, one thing. See, if you go for the zooming, here you can find out there's some options here. Oh, just a minute. So this is actually the one router actually. So in this router you can see here, so the first of all, this is what you call as a power on button. Power on and off button is there. So we got some interfaces you can see here. Link is there, link. So this is the one interface is there, 10 by 100, 10 by 100, Ethernet 0 by 1, and again 10 by 100, Ethernet 0 by 0. See this Ethernet ports, the Ethernet ports generally are going to using for, so used for connecting to LAN. These interfaces we can call as a general way LAN interfaces. LAN interfaces. Which one? 10 by 100 Ethernet 0 by 1, 10 by 100 Ethernet 0 by 0, and these two interfaces we can call as a LAN interfaces. And this console port is there, console. And this port we can call as a management interface. management interface. So what is the meaning of a management interface? Management, or we can call it a configuration port. So this interface going to use for to manage the router. That when you want to configure anything in the router, which port is required? Management port is required. That management port is called as which one? Console port. I'll explain now again. So if you go for the any router, the interfaces are the ports of any router. Say one port should be there, and those we can call as a LAN interfaces, because the router should be connected to your LAN also. LAN interface, or you can say interfaces. And the router must be connected to a WAN also. So we require the other interfaces called as a WAN interfaces. One of the interfaces is called as the LAN interface, and the second one is called as a WAN interfaces. And next one, to manage or to configure anything in the router, we require the one more interface is required, and that is what is called as a management interfaces. Management interface, or you can call it as a management port.
Console.
It's console. So any router must have the interfaces types, you can say. It may be any router. It may be like the lower series or maybe the higher series also. The any router must have these three type of interfaces: LAN interfaces, WAN interfaces, and management interfaces. So what is this LAN interface and WAN interface means? I will explain now. So we got a router. This is a router in my branch. So we have the router is there. So we got a switch is there. And the switch has multiple ports like this way. And here you can see all my systems will be connected to the systems and the servers. Everything will be connected to which one now? To the switch. So this is my branch office. So if you want to connect to the one more head office maybe, then what the device is required? The router. Now the router also we got some interfaces called as a LAN port, LAN interface. So this LAN interface is going to connect it to your switch. And the router now, we have the one more interface is there, and that is the interface is called as a
Management interface.
This is the interface name is called as a WAN interface. And this WAN interface, who is going to provide the connection? The WAN connection. Let us example, this is a Hyderabad branch. For this, they are providing the connection by the Hyderabad ISP. Hyderabad ISP, these people, they are providing the connection to the WAN connection. They are providing the WAN connection to our router. The WAN link. So let us example this Hyderabad office, it want to connect to the Mumbai office now. How it will be there? The same process. They have the Mumbai office is there, Mumbai ISP. So Mumbai ISP people, they are providing the WAN link to the router which is available in the Mumbai place, Mumbai router. This router you can see in Mumbai. This router also we have the WAN connection is there, the WAN port. For this WAN port, the connection given by the Mumbai ISP. Again, this router we have the which port is there? LAN port.
LAN.
And this LAN port will be connected to the switch which is available in the Mumbai office. And here the systems and the servers will be connected to the switch. Now between the Mumbai office and Hyderabad ISP, between these ISPs, they have their own links will be there. Maybe the link you can say when the distance may be like a short distance, they are going for like a fiber optical link. There is the fiber optical link. When the distance is very more, they are going for like a satellite link. If we can say India to USA means they are going for which link? Satellite link. So between ISP to ISP, the connections, those things will be taken care by the ISP people. So our job we can say here, however, we are getting the WAN connection from the ISP. So we have to configure the WAN interface IP addresses and LAN IP addresses and all those things. So our requirement, you can say, the Hyderabad people, they have to connect to the Mumbai. So my
Can you hold on
requirement,
for a couple of minutes?
okay, sure.
Just drawing the picture of it.
Karthik, can you mute yourself? I'm getting some disturbance there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
See now, the any router, what interfaces are required now? LAN interfaces and WAN interfaces. Now for the router, we have to provide the IP address and everything. No? To provide the IP address settings for the router, we require or you want to configure anything in the router, we require one more port is there. And this port name is called as a console port. And this port name is called as a management. So when you want to configure anything in the router, which port is required? The management port. Which is the management port in the router? The console port. So I'll explain now. Just I'll close this one. So just open the packet tracer. So here I am selecting the routers. So the routers I'll go for like a better one, 2621 or the 2811 also. I'll go for 2621 router. So just double click on the router. So we can find out the physical tab is there now. Under physical tab we can find out the diagram here. Click on zoom in. By default you can say when you buy the new router, we don't have any WAN interfaces. By default you can say when you buy the new router, we don't have any WAN interfaces. So we'll have only LAN interfaces only. These two we can say Ethernet 0 by 1, Ethernet 0 by 0. These are we can call as a LAN interfaces. And it got something called as a management interface. Console port is called as a local management. Console port using for the local management. And AUX port is there. This is using for the remote management. Remote management means, for example, my router in the Mumbai and as administrator I am in a different place. I am in the Hyderabad. From the Hyderabad itself only what I can do, from the remote place I can able to configure the router, and for this we require the port name is called as a remote management port, is the auxiliary port. For the local management the port is called as a console port. And for connecting to your LAN, the ports we can call as a 10 by 100 Ethernet 0 by 1, 10 by 100 Ethernet 0 by 0. These we can call as a LAN interfaces. Now, what about this WAN interfaces now? And you can see here, in the router, we got these empty places are there. These are all the empty places. Now in these empty places, you can see in the left hand side we can find out something called as the modules. So what are the modules are required? You can select it and you can add it. Just I'll show it now. So before adding any interfaces, the first step what you can do is we have to power off the router. Just power off the router. So let us example, if you select in the 4E, what is this 4E?
Venkat garu, can you explain that modules part once again?
Yes, this one will explain now, madam. I'm explaining this only. So example, you can say the modules are there. Example, you can say 1E. So the description, you can say the description here. 1E feature, you can say single Ethernet port that can be connected to the LAN back. For connecting to the LAN ports. And example, if you go for 4A by S, what is 4A by S? The 4-port asynchronous, synchronous, serial network module provides a flexible multi-protocol support, and this port basic purpose you can say using for low speed WAN aggregations up to 120 Kbps. That means this is nothing but you can call it the WAN ports. The A by S, asynchronous, synchronous ports, those ports we can call it which ports now? These are called as the WAN ports. So you can see here A by S port is there, 4 A by S is there and 8 A by S is there. So the 4 A by S means we get like a 4 WAN connections. And whereas if you go for the 8 A by S, you get how many interfaces now? 8 interfaces now. So what I can do means I'll go for the 4 A by S. Simply drag and drop. So I told like any router must have the what are the ports now? The router has the ports, must have the router interfaces are the ports. So one is called as the WAN interfaces and the second one is called as the LAN interfaces and the third one is called as a management interfaces. Now this serial A by S, and this totally we got 4 interfaces are there, and these 4 we can call as a which interfaces now? WAN interfaces. And now this 10 by 100, Ethernet 0 by 1 and Ethernet 0 by 0, these 2 interfaces called as a LAN interfaces. And a console using for local management interface, and auxiliary port using for remote management interface. Generally nowadays we are not using the auxiliary ports. The power button. Okay, so it may be any model of the router. The router has these interfaces: WAN interfaces, LAN interfaces, and management interfaces. So is it clear?
Yes.
See, after adding the interfaces, we have to power on the router again. So you have to power on. Say, just if you go for the router here once, we can find out what the interfaces are available there. FA0 by 0, FA0 by 1, these 2 are what we call as the LAN. And the serial 0, serial 1, serial 2, serial 3, the serial interfaces they called as a WAN interfaces. Serial 0, serial 1, serial 2, serial 3, those we can call as a WAN interfaces. Okay. So now this is the way I am going to connect it now. I'll go for the switch now. And I'll go for the systems and the laptops and the servers. The servers and laptops and the systems, everything they're going to connect it to the main switch. So what the cable I'm using here? The cable type we can say straight cable. And now between the switch and the router, what the cable requires? Between the switch and the router also, the type of the cable you can say straight cable. So in the router, when you click in this one, so FA0 by 0 or FA0 by 01, that means fast Ethernet 0 by 0, fast Ethernet 0 by 1, those ports called as a LAN interfaces. You can use any one also. And the switch I'm going to connect to any one of the place. And the same process way what you can do, we'll go for one more router. So this you can assume as a one more branch. And for this branch also, what is things you can do it now? We can go for the one more switch. And the systems and the servers or devices. So FA0 by 0. So now you can assume as this is a branch, you can say Hyderabad branch. And this is a branch maybe you can assume is Mumbai branch. So between the Hyderabad and Mumbai, so this is going to connect it to the ISP of the Hyderabad, the WAN connection, and ISP of the Mumbai. So they have the link is there. So now these all the systems maybe can say in different network 192.168. and 1 series, depend in the class C. And these systems may be in the 172.16.0 series in class B. Now what you can do now, between two different networks, Hyderabad branch to Mumbai branch, my requirement you can say the systems which are available in the Hyderabad, and these systems they have to communicate to Mumbai. So our job we can say we have to configure the routers and the switches in this case. Okay, just 1 minute. So this diagram is okay now for everybody?
Yes.
So this is the basic setup we require now. So up to now we got the basic idea about what the router and the router interfaces are there. And the next part will go for how do you configure the router. So those things will go for in the next classes.
Priya, can you on the recording? Okay, go ahead.
Hello?
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, fine.
Yes, Rina?
No, go ahead. It's okay.
See now for the router we got like interfaces. What are the LAN interface names now? The LAN interface names we can call it a Ethernet 0x0, or we can simply shortcut way they called it a FA 0x0. FA 0x0 they called it a fast Ethernet 0x0, or maybe the naming FA 0x1. These are naming conventions for the LAN interfaces. FA 0x0 or FA 0x1. For the WAN interfaces, the naming conventions for the WAN interfaces like this way: serial 0x0 or 0x1 or serial 1x0. It depends on the router model. You can say serial 0x0. What is 0x0 means here? So this is slot is there, na? The slot you can say 0 slot. Under 0 slot, The port you can say 0 port, 1 port, 2 port, 3 port, 4 port. So the naming conventions may be like this way: 0 by 1 and maybe serial 0 by 1 by 0 or 0 by 2, like this way. You can see the naming conventions here. It depends upon the router model. So what it has given? Serial 1 by 0, serial 1 by 1, serial 1 by 2, serial 1 by 3. These are naming conventions for the WAN interfaces now. And next one, we got one more interface is there. Management interface. The management interface is nothing but a which port? Your console. So it will be like this way. Which port will be there? RJ45 port. And the serial interface, if 4 rows. Like this, you got how many rows are there? 4 rows will be there. 4 rows with the holes, a female connector. And the console port also, it just look like a RJ45 port only. The console port. So is it clear?